Hey friends, welcome back to Body Kind Valentine week. This is day 3. My name is Katrina Cohe. I'm the CEO of Different Drummer Dance and your host for this week. So far this week, we've talked about why body kindness is so important for dancers. We've talked about how to handle negative body image talk as a dance teacher when you hear it or see it happening in your dance studio. Today is going to be all about conversation starters, things that you can say, conversations that you can prompt with your dancers so that they start getting a awareness of body kindness and what it is and why it might be important for their dance training. Now, if you're ready to dive into this material even more, if you're gung-ho, I have 2 resources that you can use right away and jump into. The first is my Body Kind Valentine week workbook. So this is a workbook full of lots of different materials that I've compiled that you can use during the week of Valentine's to kick off conversations and games and activities and learning about body kindness, and then reference back and use those concepts through the entire year, because this work of body kindness isn't one and done. We want to make sure that we're continuing the journey with our students and supporting them with it throughout the entire year. So the link for that is below. Below you will also find the link to a webinar that I'm hosting on February 22nd. It's the Building Better Body Image in Dancers webinar. It's totally free and I would love for you to be there. It's a really great crash course in why body kindness is so important for dancers and what the steps are that we as dance educators can take to support our dancers' physical and mental well-being and teach them about body kindness and body image resilience. So you'll find the links for that below. I also this week am giving away prizes from our sponsors of Body Kind Valentine Week. So we've already offered up 2 prizes. And today, when you listen to the end of the video, I'm going to be offering you a chance to win a free Arctic Blast Dance Camp from Discover Dance. If you're not already familiar with Discover Dance's materials and incredible resources, you're totally missing out. They have so many amazing resources for dance teachers. You're going to want to make sure that you find them and follow them and investigate their work more. And at the end of this video, I'll be telling you how you can win a free dance camp from them. So make sure you keep watching. So onwards, today we are talking about some starting conversations that we can have about body image, about body kindness with our dancers. And these conversations need to become normal in dance. I know this is a topic that can feel really sensitive and murky. We're not sure how to start talking about it. We don't want to say the wrong thing. But these are conversations that our students are craving us to have with them. If you watch day 1's video, I read some really shocking statistics about why dancers need this work of body kindness. Make sure you watch that video. So this is the first step in introducing those conversations to our dancers and introducing them to the topic of body kindness. So I'm just going to give you a few examples of conversation starters, things that you can start asking your dancers to prompt them to have bigger conversations. Now, one thing I do want to mention here is that it's totally normal if at first these conversations just feel like crickets, right? Because as I mentioned, this can be a really awkward and weird topic to talk about. So please don't worry if your first couple attempts don't yield anything. That's totally normal. Really, you're setting the stage for these conversations to happen naturally, and they will. When you start talking about these things, your dancers will know that this is a safe place for them to talk and that you are a safe spot for them to land. So don't be afraid of the conversations. Don't be afraid if they are really quiet at first. And please also keep in mind that if you are concerned that a dancer is struggling with an eating disorder or a mental health concern, that you as a dance teacher or studio owner are likely a mandated reporter and you will need to report that information to your local authorities. So make sure you know that and you proceed accordingly, okay? So here's the first conversation starter that we have. You might ask your dancers, what does the term body image mean to you? It's a term that we hear thrown around a lot, especially, online, on social media, in magazines. But what does it actually mean? That's one of those phrases that we kind of become deaf to because we hear it all the time. So you might explore with your dancers, what does that term mean to them? What do they think it means? You might ask them, when do you feel best in your body? Again, this is something that we don't always take the time to think about, but by asking them, when do you feel the best in your body, you're asking them to connect to their minds and their bodies and think about, I really feel great when I'm dancing, or I feel great when I've gotten a good night's sleep. You're asking them to identify those little things that their body appreciates so that eventually they can start recognizing them more and more and engaging with them more and more. You might ask them, how does it feel when you compare yourself to others? Our world is rampant with comparison and perfectionism these days, especially with the social media that our young dancers are exposed to. This can be a really, really detrimental thing to their mental health. So by helping them to identify how they feel when they compare themselves to other people, you're starting to open up the conversation for, maybe comparing myself isn't the best thing for me. What can I do instead? What are some ways that I can build growth mindset? And how can I help myself to realize that I don't need to compare myself to other people? So you're paving the way for a bigger conversation to happen down the road. Another great question I like to ask my dancers all the time is, what are some amazing things your body does for you? Our body does a whole host of things for us on a daily basis without us even asking it to. Things like pumping blood and breathing and our heart beating and digesting our food, right? These are all things that our body takes care of for us in order to take care of us. But so often they go unrecognized. So it can be really interesting to spark that conversation with your dance students and see the light bulbs go off for them as they start to realize that their body is a really, really amazing tool that deserves respect. Finally, ask them, do you ever have any conversations with your body? And be open to whatever comes up. These conversations aren't necessarily to guide them in a certain way and say, oh, you shouldn't talk about your body that way, but more to get them to explore and to become curious about the things that they might say to their body or that they might not say to their body. So we're planting little seeds here. Of course, we want our dancers to say positive, respectful things about themselves, but we also want to help them come to those conclusions and realizations on their own. So that's what these conversation starters are designed to do and help you with. Okay, so here's what I want you to do next. In order to win that prize that I mentioned from Discover Dance and participate in Body Kind Valentine Week, I want you to make sure that you have liked this video, subscribed, and then in the comments, I want you to drop the word Wednesday. This is day 3, Wednesday's material of Body Kind Valentine Week. So drop that in the comments. You'll be entered to win that fantastic Arctic Blast dance camp from Discover Dance. All the winners will be announced by the end of the week, so make sure you enter. Stay tuned for more. I've still got 2 days of Body Kind material coming at you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again soon.